Hey everyone, happy Friday. Another podcast being dropped 2 a week now, so I hope you enjoy that. I'm thinking about doing this in seasons because I think it'll be easier for me to have a beginning point and an end point. And that way I feel a little bit more motivated to do these. Not saying I don't feel motivated now. I'm still feeling quite fine about doing them, but I know during certain times of my life I do lose focus and I tend to put that focus on other things. So I think having this as a season would be great. I haven't worked out the details of how I want to go about it yet, but I'm thinking. I think in the previous batch of podcasts that I did, I might as well just label that season one, and I'll group them all together in my YouTube. And this one I will group into a season two folder. I think it's a good idea. Like I said, I have no idea of the amount of episodes I want in there yet. Still kind of running about it in my mind, but I think that's how I'm going to approach it. I think I like that. I was watching Hot Ones the other day, and I remember they do seasons, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. That gives me some time off to pursue other things, and then it also gives a window frame of a time frame of when I can do these, and hopefully people would want to join, and they'll know that's the time frame to do it. So yeah, that's what's been developing on my side, but. The podcast that's dropping now, it's going to be with Corvus Crowe. He's a collegiate commentator. I believe he does commentating in other facets too, whatever he can. But, he's most prominent, from what I understand, in collegiate commentary. And that's where I know him from. That's where we met. And this podcast is essentially two friends catching up. Because, yeah, he's been my longtime colleague. We've went to several events together, have casted several seasons together of Collegiate League of Legends. And we don't really talk that much outside of casting. We catch up on Discord every now and then. Sometimes it's even just business, but yeah, we spent about an hour and a half catching up. That's essentially what this podcast is, and I hope you guys enjoy it because it was really fun just catching up with him. Sometimes we play games together too, but it doesn't really happen often. So we talk about that too. We talk about a lot of things. Talk about of course, Collegiate esports. Talk about the world. His family owns a small business, an event business over in Atlanta. So we definitely talk about that with what all is going on in the United States and the world. So we catch up on a lot of things, pretty much everything, really. I mean, he lives just north of Atlanta in a city called Marietta, and I lived in Atlanta. So I mean, obviously, we talk about Atlanta a little bit as well, and. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, I had a great time. Like, I usually have these go about an hour, but by the time an hour got there, I think I even said, hey man, it's getting an hour. You want to wrap it up or something like that? And we just ended up talking for 30 more minutes, which, by the way, part of that 30 minutes is me trolling him about sports. Because, fun fact, I don't know if any of you know Kyle that often, met him in events or got to talking to him whenever he has a drink in his hand. But the dude loves to hate sports. I want to say he loves sports. He actually does love sports, but he loves to hate sports, sports teams specifically. And I bring up some key pressure points because I know that about him, and it was entertaining to me because it always is. I remember distinctly we were at an airport bar one time waiting for a layover flight, and we were watching ESPN on the TV at the bar, and hearing him insult things is it's like poetry. It's like a work of art, and I try to bring that out. And I think I did a good job. I pretty sure I did a great job here. And I say I did a great job. He did a great job because he weaved he elegantly weaved his hate for teams. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. Hope everyone enjoys it. So here it is. I'm making it a point in this podcast to stay completely optimistic about the whole entire situation, because now I get to sit down and do this and hopefully take people's mind off of things and give people something to listen to and just also participate in, because I mean, collegiate people don't have enough things to participate in my opinion. So figured why not. So yeah, trying to stay positive. I think today has been the roughest, but I mean, I have ups and downs anyways. So I don't blame my so far 2-day quarantine for my foul mood today. I'm not even in really a foul mood. I'm more of in a manic mood. I just started cleaning everything, and then I showered, and I feel better now. And now I'm doing this.
Good.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's always I've been looking forward to this all day too. So I'm chill now. But yeah, other than that, I mentioned on my other ones, I'm off for 28 more days.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All the non-essential things in Nevada closed down. That's casinos, and yeah, I do casino work. So yeah, my casino boarded up their windows, boarded up their doors, their windows, like a post-apocalyptic
Like with
building.
2x4s and plywood and stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Seems a little dramatic.
So they want to prevent people from looking in, and I guess scoping out who's all there, because there's going to be a handful of people scouting the area, like security, surveillance, and a manager on duty at all times, just to make sure that nothing breaks. There's no leaks, no of any of like liquid or gas or anything. Also, the IT director is going to be there to make sure that systems are staying operational and things, and also to protect against looters, because apparently
Yeah.
that's a thing that's going to happen. Which I mean that seems obvious if you have that much money just laying around in a casino, because I would assume that they don't just deposit all their money at once. Like we have Brinks come by once a week and
Yep.
and take the money, but I'm sure we still have some on hand. I'm positive, because
Yeah, gotta have something just to make change with, right?
that, and also like if the banks fail, then they have absolutely nothing. And we like when I'm not saying it would ever get to that point, but in a time of uncertainty, you gotta look at everything like that. So I would assume that they have money on hand to be looted. So yeah, they boarded everything up with 2x4s and plywood. They got it the night of the announcement from our governor to go and get all the engineers got the word, and we got the company credit card just to go buy some plywood and various things and board it up as fast as possible. So yeah, it's weird. It was more eerie than anything else, because it's my place of business where I make a living, and now it's all boarded up.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. So I went to my local GameStop today.
You're one of those.
Well, I had gift cards, right?
I was
I ended
messing
up
with you.
I ended up paying $18 for Animal Crossing. So
Mazel
yeah,
tov.
I'll go out and just cause some Christmas gift cards from relatives that oh, I know you're into video games, right? So
Yeah.
that's and so that totally good. My local one was actually boarded up as well. I had no idea. So there's it's just right across the street from like the Panera that I always go to. And there's a Barnes and Noble there as well, like an old CD shop. And so it's just kind of like, besides the Panera, like the Barnes and Noble, GameStop, CD shop, like things that are just sitting there, tick, 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 with the Grim Reaper just staring at him, looking at his
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. The Grim Reaper at this point is probably the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the GameStop was the first to go, and it was boarded up, and they had long sheets of like butcher paper, or like whatever the like brown wrapping paper, shipping paper,
Yeah,
I guess it is.
the thick ones that no liquids leak through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just sealed over the window, so I was pretty cheesed. I had to drive a whole 3 minutes to get to the other GameStop. So
That's not what America's about.
no,
3 minutes.
I need it now. It was 3 minutes away. It's and then 3 minutes or so from that one is the mall, which also has a GameStop in it, but that's closed right now.
Yeah, I would hope
So,
that the mall is at least closed. Like,
yeah.
I actually don't approve personally of Barnes and Nobles and GameStop being open. I get their business, especially those two, because they're dying. But yeah,
If it makes anyone feel better, I did wear gloves to GameStop.
Nice.
And I sanitized the copy of the case as soon as, like, I had hand sanitizer. I rubbed it all over both my hands and the case as soon as I left.
Yeah,
so.
because apparently that the virus is supposed to be able to live on plastic surfaces longer than any other surfaces. So I've been paranoid about having groceries delivered and things like that because of that reason. Which, yeah, I'm trying to really not cross the line into just stupid hysteria, and just stay on the side of, well, this is cautious. I'm just being cautious.
Healthy caution.
Yeah.
I think, when not done to an extreme. Sure.
Yeah, and also, it depended on my mood. If I'm like manic, like today, like my wife told me she was going to the grocery store. I was like, no, don't do it. But we need things, so of course she has to go. And there's no delivery. There's no delivery services going on right now. So like that's. I had to like take a step back, and I'm like, okay, calm down, Josh. Yeah, so I think that's like one part of just like the part of the day that I've had where, like I said earlier, it's like this is the worst day I've had. But again, I just have my highs and lows of manic weirdness anyways, and I've been pretty chill for a second, and then it just kind of goes up and down. So yeah, today was just one of those days where I had to actually like self-evaluate and say, "You're being stupid, Josh. Chill out." Yeah. Well, other than that, so I guess CSL's not going on, right?
Yeah, we I think so. Any just quick disclaimer here. Any opinions I express are mine as an independent contractor for CSL. I'm not an employee. I just get contracted out to cast their games. So as such, I think my level of information that I get is, lowest priority. I'm a little bit more limited there. But as far as I understand, the good folks at CSL did try to kind of hold out as long as they could on postponing some of this. I actually didn't even expect that we'd be postponing because we did our regular matches on Tuesday, which is when we do League of Legends, which is the only game that I do with CSL. But that means at least we got into this most recent week when we're recording this podcast, doing our regularly scheduled live played games. We had Columbia College versus Illinois Wesleyan play on Tuesday. We watched that game live. And there were some frustrated players. There were some complaints. People were saying, "Hey, why are we having to do this? Shouldn't we be breaking?" And I was, thinking to myself, kind of privately in my head, like, "Well, I mean, yeah, but it's can't you just play the game? You're not in a public space to play these games anyway. What's the problem?" And so turns out the problem is that stuff, completely blanked on this. Still plenty of people living on campus playing from their dorms. These campuses are closed.
Yeah.
Some players from this match in particular, I won't name names, couldn't even get in to get their rigs. So they were having to like play on their mom's laptop and stuff.
Yeah, and then that affects the play so much when you're playing at even a remotely high caliber. And I know people will
we're
say,
in playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Insanity. And so I really felt for those guys that were having to do that, and it was kind of a nice glass of cold water thrown in my face. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I shouldn't be just sitting here. So yes, on one hand, while it's easy to see on Twitter, oh my goodness, there's all this opportunity for esports. You get guys like Slasher and Monty talking, and it's just like, aha, all the traditional sports, they suck now because esports is king, and huzzah for us. And I'm probably being a little reductive with some of their nuanced opinions there. But
you're so elegant whenever you like want to correct something of yourself. Like whenever you might be stepping over a line, you're so elegant and like like a backhanded takeaway, a backhanded backtrack is what it is. I love it.
Kind of say so. Either way, all that to say, I do see the narrative thrown around quite a bit that there's a lot of opportunity for esports here, and I agree. I'm curious at a collegiate level because problems like that popping up, it's left me scratching my head, and really did give me something to think about that I'd not thought about, and so that one is tough. So I think the good folks at CSL made the right decision to kind of suspend the playoff bracket as it is. I know that's got to probably be a little bit stinging for like Illinois Wesleyan, who made all these concessions to play a game as it was going on, and then here 3 days later we're making the call to go ahead and press the pause button on the rest of the bracket anyway. But that's unfortunately, I think, just the nature of it.
Well, it's important to remember that this is all uncharted territory for essentially everybody, our entire generation. This is uncharted territory. This is uncharted territory for my mom's generation too. I mean, and that's growing up through quite a few conflicts, and of course 9/11. But while 9/11 changed things, it did not put us in quarantine. At least most of the country. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we're encountering now that we have to think on the fly. We didn't have a contingency plan for this because who would have thought 1 year ago, we should probably have something in place in case the world gets shut down from a virus infection. You can't just prepare for that. So yeah, there's really no proper decision that's going to please everybody because it's not an ideal situation no matter what. So there's really no way to not get hit by shit at this point because everything stinks, right?
It really does, and so while we all feel for these collegiate players here that are being directly affected by this, and certainly some are going to feel like they've drawn the short straw, I do fully and wholeheartly believe that the folks at CSL are doing the best they can with this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just an independent contractor, but I'm in Slack channels and Discord channels, and I'm plugged in with the the greater CSL pipeline, and the conversations that are going on there are all very player focused still, and very much, we're feeling this too.
Yeah, I was like, well, you're a contractor. You're losing work at this point.
I am, yeah, no, actually. So one wonderful thing that they've done is they're trying to secure show matches for our next time slot, just to have something, which is actually in theory kind of better for me because as a contractor, I'm paid by the game, right? Or the series rather.
Yeah.
And so them adding just show match series, I think for everyone's benefit, just to have something on the channel, bringing me in, well, hey, that actually adds to the total number of series that I'll cast all year long. So in theory, bigger paycheck at the end of it all. So with that, that's helpful now, but I'm not blind to the idea or the fact that it could go the other way in a second. We've already had to cancel our entire grand finals. It was supposed to be in your backyard in Vegas. I was going to come visit you.
I was actually really heartbroken about that. It was like totally understandable, but I was so I was like, I I had made plans. I was gonna show. Personally, I was going to show you some places because, like, I mean, you're in Vegas, and if I recall, this is your first time in Vegas, right?
Never even set foot in Nevada. So
yeah, oh my god, yeah. So that actually really made me sad. I mean, obviously, it has actually no financial direct impact on me or anything, but mostly just sentimental because I kind of took a step back from most contractual collegiate obligations this year, and this was like my chance to still say hi to people and.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's for the best, obviously.
It is the right call.
I mean, and now you won't even have a choice. There's nothing here to go into because, I mean, the esports arena is at the Luxor, and the Luxor is shut down. So, I mean, yeah, that would have been terrible if you guys didn't cancel and just could have come here anyways and you didn't make contingency plans early enough for that.
So fun fact with that, actually, I'm not in that same vein, or in the same vein, but not in the esports context. I'm actually having to roll the dice on that right now with my wedding this year.
Oh,
because so state of Georgia has said, which I live in Atlanta, state of Georgia is my home state. For anyone who may not know, they've said no gatherings of more than 50 people, and that's in effect until like the end of August. And so hopefully you're looking at that saying, okay, you know what? Hopefully we're not, still going into August. They'll lift this when it needs to. So I'm getting married in September.
Right.
And so if that gets extended even just by a month now, here I am having to call this thing off. So I'm kind of playing a game of chicken. Like, I'm not going to cancel because I already paid the deposit on the venue. And so I'm really hoping that if it gets to that point of just like maximum bad, that they... Like, there's a chance they could call the bluff, right? And they could be like, okay, so you're still doing this, right? Like, okay, no, legally I can't, and so I'm still on the hook.
Right.
But maybe they'll say, hey, we can't do this, and here's your refund.
That would be the ethical thing to do.
I think so, too. Ideally,
yeah,
everything would be blown over.
Right.
And could have a big old party and invite everybody I know.
Well, I would say for anyone who doesn't know, yours truly is actually invited, and like, if 50 people or less, like, man, if you gotta cut me, I totally understand. Obviously, I'm not family. I get that. I
would have to cut family at 50 people or less.
I'm sure. Yeah.
We both come from large Irish families, so not Irish, just Southern 7th generation Scotch Irish.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I didn't even
No. It's what I'm still remaining quite optimistic, and we'll just find another time if that doesn't work. So not to take that down like too personal of a rabbit hole there. You're
the guest. You're the guest, man.
I was trying to relate it to venues closing and having a vested interest in that.
So do you? If you don't mind, do you mind if I go into like a little more personal like background of what's going on with you right now?
Everything, sure.
Okay, well, if that's the case, because I know your family company is a tent company. How is that faring right now?
Oh, it's awful. It's bad. Our business is events, large groups of people, and that's completely shot dead in the water as it is. So we've had to make some terribly tough decisions. We kind of let our staff know that we'd pay them out for what we could right now, but but realistically to expect to be off
You guys
longer
got to
than
survive still.
right. Well, that's the one thing is everybody in the state is in the same boat as we are.
Right.
As far as our competitors go, so it's not like we're losing out on this business to other people. It's just that there is no business for any of us.
Anybody. Right.
And so I'll say this, because the small business, small businesses may not always be often well represented, or the idea of workers being treated fairly. So what we did is we gave at least one, but for most people, 2 paid weeks off. Told them that, hey, look, this is realistically likely going to last a lot longer than that. I'm actually not drawing any salary at this point. I'm just living off of savings, which I'm blessed enough to be able to do. But all the company money is gone straight to paying what we owe, and taking care of our employees. Neither my brother and I are pulling anything out of it, and we're just going to ride that out as long as we can. And
that's all you can do, right?
Hopefully it bounces back great. And if it gets to the point where we can't afford to operate anymore, then so be it. I don't know if it'll get that bad. I'm hopeful it won't.
Yeah, definitely not. I hope not either.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, believe me,
obviously
it's not my first choice.
Right.
But that is a reality that I think we're looking at here right now, is that it's not just a distant red herring meteor that may crash into the earth in 45 billion years. It is a strong likelihood. And so we've tried to be upfront and open with our employees about it. We've let them know, hey, if you want to start searching for other work at this time, more power to you. We totally understand. And we're not, there's no hard feelings. If you need a letter of recommendation, if you want to have someone call us and verify all your employment, all that, we totally get it. Because a lot of these people are in sales, are in like office style jobs with us that they're not exactly in the field, that they could be going out and getting other work right now. For the ones that are kind of just doing the installs and like the boots on the ground stuff, it's a little bit more like we feel for them a little bit more. They're the ones we're trying to pay longer, but they're in situations where no one's like, you'd go to construction, maybe you'd go to another tent company, you'd go to some kind of other form of manual labor.
Yeah, construction is the only thing really going on in the city right now. Actually, I drove down the strip with one of my friends the other night because this is an abnormal event. I wanted to see an empty strip, see what it was like. I took some pictures, but there's like construction all over because it's one of the few times that there's no people. So they just are there. The construction workers are just working like almost nonstop because they finally have the opportunity to.
That's interesting. So it's dead in my city.
Really?
It's like
Atlanta.
So specifically North Atlanta, like the city of Marietta.
Okay, yeah.
But permitting offices are closed, so they can't get permits to start anything new. So the jobs that have been going on for the last month, those are okay, but those are already still full booked, right? It's when they start permitting for new jobs that they're looking to bring on new people. And that's completely shot. So for those guys, it's kind of like, hey, who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're doing all you can. Your company's doing all you can. I mean, that's really all you can be asked for. Because again, I mean, it's just like any like CSL or schools. How do you prepare for this sort of thing? So,
right.
I mean, that's just kind of how it is.
Like, I'm uniquely blessed in that my fiance, she's in public accounting. Tax deadlines are going to be tax deadlines no matter what, right? IRS is still going to.
They
did change it,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't just say, "Hey, no more taxes."
What if?
Yeah. What a world that would be. So she's got work a-okay, and thankfully we're in a position where we'll be okay with just her. We need to be for now. So
that's good.
So just I'm counting my blessings. And having some esports stuff with CSL right now, still definitely one of those. Her career is still definitely one of those. So if things are a little spotty in my current line of work, then that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm doing too, just like being grateful because my so we're only shut down for 30 days so far. Hopefully it doesn't get extended, but my casino is paying me for at least half that time, which is
Nice.
more than some of the other casinos around here. So I'm just trying to be grateful I can make my rent, and that's which they're banning. The governor banned evictions in Nevada, so it's like even if I can't make my rent, like I'll be okay.
Nice.
But
Sure.
I don't want to take advantage of that. But like
No.
yeah, so
Sure.
I can pay my rent and be upfront about it, and I'm happy about that. So yeah, that's me too. I'm just trying to be grateful about everything, and I think it's easy when you see that the entire world is a dumpster fire, and some people you're not quite on fire. It's just surrounding you. But you literally see people on fire. So I'm grateful
Right.
I'm not on fire. I'm grateful you're not on fire either. And yeah, we get time to play games now. So
For sure.
that's always good. You've been playing Warzone, you said?
Yeah. No, I've been
Please
really.
tell me, because I just don't give a crap about Battle.net. I don't like Blizzard. I don't do any of that. But I've been really craving playing Apex, and I've been seeing a lot of people play Warzone. I'm tempted. Sell me on it.
So okay, a couple things. If you're cold on Blizz and Battle.net, chances are you probably didn't play the Black Ops 4
The Battle
Battle
Royale?
Royale.
I did.
The first call. Okay.
I
Okay.
did.
Well, that's yeah.
it was fun. I just overall just don't like dealing with black. It's just that's the only game I ever played on it. I don't play Overwatch. I don't play Hearthstone. I don't do anything.
Sure.
Heroes of the Storm, which I actually like Heroes of the Storm. I don't know why I don't play it, but
That's everybody's opinion on anyone who's ever played Heroes of the Storm feels that way. Oh, this is fun. I'm never gonna touch it again.
Poor them. Their whole Scholastic, league went down the drain because of that attitude.
Shout out to our friend Brian Starkey, who was like a top 32 or 16 finisher in Heroes of the Dorm, only to find it a proverbial ghost town the next year.
Anyways, go on with Warzone.
So I'll say this: I liked the Black Ops 4. Was it Blackout? Was that the name of the?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked Blackout. Okay, I would have given that like a solid, like a 6 out of 10. I think, as far as like how much fun I had playing Blackout. So for reference, I would put this one Warzone at probably like closer to a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Kind of depending on how it's going.
Where would you put Apex?
Apex, like I would put that at the actual, like I would put that at the 10.
Okay.
Because it's functionally the most fun I've had playing a BR.
It was the most fun I had playing as well, and
I think it's the most polished, most well put together BR kind of on the market right now.
Yeah.
And I know that's saying a lot with Fortnite being the kind of colossus that it is.
I mean, that's a colossus for. I feel like that's a colossus for far different reasons than just being a BR though. There's a lot of things that goes into Fortnite that, yeah, I guess you could call it. I guess I'm just not gauging the popularity of a BR to using that as a gauge for how good it is to play, because I think,
sure, of course.
I don't know, Fortnite. I've tried Fortnite and it's just not my thing. I've seen people play Fortnite and I just can't get into it. I don't know why, but
yeah,
I know
I've been the same. I played 45
popular.
minutes total.
Yeah, it's insanely popular. Even people at my work play, and I'm like, all right, sweet. I talk to them about it because they're still into the esports side of it, so I still talk to them about it just to keep up on things because I like to be knowledgeable. But yeah, I definitely don't use popularity as a gauge of how good it is. But Apex I did like a lot, quite a bit. I'm just not very good at them, and I got sidetracked with other things, so I stopped playing it. But I've been having a hankering, and I have time off now, so I'm like, I kind of want to revisit it.
So Apex, I think, still most fun. I burned myself out on Apex pretty quickly this last season. I grinded the whole battle pass.
You
I
played a
ranked.
lot, yeah.
I did, and so I it was multifaceted. The reason I fell off, but I was kind of having enough of it by the end. Really, I was only playing with friends, and then all of my friends just jump shipped, and my entire gaming circle goes through phases of RuneScape and not RuneScape, and I've never played RuneScape. And they're just all playing like so much RuneScape right now. It's just debilitating. Like you can't hang out with these people in person without like the entire competition.
You talk about a game that has longevity. RuneScape has been around for a decade. How long? It's been over a decade, like 15 years, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, just the iteration of RuneScape that's popular right now is 2007 Scape.
That's insane.
Which they just launched an old patch, similar like a la Classic WoW, but I think before Classic WoW did it, and everyone flocked back to it. All that to say, yeah, not trying to get down the RuneScape tangent because I could complain about that game for hours.
You're
just
welcome
watching.
to, because one of my goals is to make you complain about something, because I love hearing you complain about things. Because like you,
We can talk sports in a minute.
We're going to, because again, it's just one of those things that you have such an elegance of your hatred. Like if my hatred is a chaotic ball of fire that spreads to everything, yours is a focused, just laser shot, elegant piece of thing that will pierce the heart of something. While I just go for whatever I have.
You're sweet to say all that. We'll get into the New Orleans Saints and fucking Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, baby.
Buccaneers.
I was looking forward to that.
We'll get to all that. RuneScape, essentially, you're watching numbers go up on a screen. I don't get it. That's the entire game.
Yeah.
Watch the number
you
go
play
up.
Minecraft though, yeah.
Oh yeah, but Minecraft, you build. You have a creative outlet.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, I think Minecraft, in terms of if it were just the progression system, would kind of be, it's like, oh, now I have iron, so I can get diamonds. Now I have diamonds, so I can get that. And I do understand the appeal of those gameplay loops, but it's not particularly. That's not the kind of game I would just keep coming back to. I fell off Destiny for the same reason.
Oh my gosh, I tried Destiny 2, and it was just not fun for me at all.
Yeah,
I tried. I heard so much about it, and I heard so much about number 1, and number 2 I heard was like, it's pretty good, and like I played it, and this is boring. I just
grind for the blue engram so you can get the purple.
I'm
get the gold. Grind for the gold so you can get the right gold.
There was a point where I had not done anything besides strafe left and right and hold my right trigger down. I was like, this is mind numbing. Yeah.
So tying that all back to me not playing Apex anymore. The whole squad is regrettably on a RuneScape kick. I'm tired of Apex at this time. Call of Duty releases this battle royale for free. I own it on the PlayStation. It's cross-platform, but I wanted that delicious platinum trophy.
Of course.
Which I attained in under 24 hours. Flex. Did that on PlayStation. They released it for free. I downloaded it on PC. It's nice because then I can just they released the Warzone mode for free on PC. So they do a lot right. I think that's just kind of stupid fun. In that the time to kill feels, I think, considerably lower than like your Apex style BR, which I think Apex kind of has a higher time to kill than most. But I put Call of Duty's at pretty quick. It's about twice the amount of time as a normal Call of Duty match. So if you could think of just how fast COD's multiplayer time to kill is, about double that, and you're close to the BR.
Are you still playing Rainbow Six? Because you got me introduced into that game, and I've been hooked ever since. And I think I've only played with you like 3 times.
I think I played once in the last 3 months.
Why is that?
I still really like Rainbow Six. But I think, for whatever reason, you and I don't play too many games together.
I know.
And
well, you're like, whenever you're good at a game, you're like way better at it, and you play it more. And those games I'm not good at. The games that I'm good at, you don't play.
Yeah.
Like League.
You'd probably church me at Rainbow Six at this point. I think you have way more hours than I do. So maybe it's time for me to come back and get a lesson.
It took me a long time to even get that way because like I was really intimidated, and I just started playing more and more. And I'm still not that great, but at least I have confidence. By the way, they just remade Oregon, and that map is a clusterfuck, if I can use that word on my own podcast, which I'm not sponsored, so yes I can. So yeah, that. They just remade the map of Oregon, and honestly, the main reason why I stick with Rainbow Six is because I absolutely love Ubisoft. Like, they're such a good company.
They've done a lot right, haven't they?
I mean, they've brought that game back from the brink of death, essentially, and it's been amazing.
Same with For Honor. Same with the Assassin's Creed series. I mean, I think they've made their mistakes, sure, but they've been putting in the work to correct them. I think For Honor, especially a testament to that. We had the dark days of Assassin's Creed, which is a series that I just absolutely love. Just putting multiplayer on pause for a second there. Like, you've got Rogue and Syndicate and just like these games that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
And they recognize that this thing's in a tailspin. They put development on pause for a little while. And they're like, hey, guess what? Nope. We've got Origins. We've got Odyssey. And both of those are just like absolute bangers. Good for them. Good for Ruby.
The only one I've actually wanted to play is I've played number 1, and it was kind of repetitive. And I heard if I just get past that, it's fine. Like to the next game, it's fine. But I didn't really get into it. I really enjoyed the gameplay though, and I really wanted. I mean, I guess I don't know if this is a trait of most people, but I go through phases of gaming as well. Never like RuneScape or anything. I don't like hardcore. I kind of hardcore dive into like RPG styles, but like I don't focus on one game. Like right now, I'm playing Final Fantasy 12, but I just got done playing Final Fantasy 7. In like 2 weeks, I'm going to play Final Fantasy 7 Remake. By the way, I bought a PS4 for that, and now I'm like in jeopardy of not even getting the game, so I'm wondering how that's going to work. I'll figure it out. But, yeah, I go through a pirate phase every now and then, which is weird because there's not that many pirate games. And the only one that actually satisfies me is New Horizon on the Super Nintendo. And I will go back and play that, and I've been trying desperately to find some. I've played Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates.
It's like all right, but it just doesn't get me that in-depth feel that I want. Like New Horizon, you can be a trader, you can be a pirate, you can be a nobleman, you can be a cartographer. I think that's the cartographer. Yeah, it's just like it seems like it's way more in depth on a Super Nintendo than any of the ones are now. And I tried that new one. I think is it called Pirates? The one where you're actually on a boat and you like sail it with a bunch of people and go to islands and stuff.
Not Sea of Thieves.
It is Sea of Thieves.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I tried that one, and that seems.
Don't know anything about it.
It seems like it has a really good potential if you can just get some people to play with. Because if you don't, you're on a boat by yourself sailing, and it's so boring. I played it for a bit, and I don't know. But yeah, I heard the Assassin's Creed. I think it's Black Flag. I heard that was actually pretty good.
It's worth your time. Yeah, I think it's probably pretty cheap too.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
That said, I'll take a quick second. You ever played? This is not really a segue, but you ever played the very popular board game Settlers of Catan?
I have a Star Trek version of it. Never played it.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, like, I don't know how you feel about the gameplay itself.
A lot of my friends like it, which is why I got it. And then I realized that I'm a hermit and I don't really play with board games with friends. So,
but I have had the opportunity to come to Vegas.
I know, right? I also have Harry Potter Clue, which I've never played.
God, you bastard!
And I want to.
So you have to bring that if the wedding's still on and you're coming. You got to bring that
gladly.
That's Rachel's favorite game in the world is Clue, and she's also like huge into Harry Potter. That would be
awesome. Yeah, I will gladly do it.
Rehearsal dinner type thing for sure. So there's a game. This actually might be Ubisoft as well. Come to think of it. There's a series of games called Anno that I'd never heard of until this most recent release, Anno 1800. But there's like a futuristic one and a couple others in the series that are kind of older.
It is Ubisoft. I just Googled it.
Yeah. So Anno 1800 may kind of scratch that time period itch that you're looking for. It kind of plays like a longer game of Catan. Or I've never played like the Civilization games.
I was about to say, this is one of those Civilization games where I'm going to say, oh, I'll play for an hour, and then 5 hours go by, and I'm like hungry and starving, and like I have malnutrition at that point.
So I poured a lot of time into it because you can kind of like set whatever rules you want. So you can just literally kind of do like a City Skylines thing where you just, turn off all the opposing AI, and you're just playing. Like you're just building your own colony and securing your own objectives. Or there's the actual mini game version or not mini game, but like actual gameplay version where you are like competing against 4 other people on the same map for kind of control over all the islands. And your goal is to build the biggest and best civilization. And you can do that diplomatically, or you can do that kind of by force. And they can kind of come and attack your harbors, but never destroy your main town or anything. And then there's pirates running around all about in that. And there's kind of, there's like fun mini games with like excursions and stuff where it's really just management. It's a management style game, but it does have that kind of into it. That is, I think maybe in line with something that may scratch that itch for you.
I'm going to check that one out. Yeah. Cause it's hard for me to really get into that. Like to I guess the term you're using, scratch that itch. So yeah. I'm going to check that one out. I do love these kind of games. I haven't played Civilization in a while. Actually, the last kind of game like this I played was Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, which is from like 1999, Fire Axis
Holy
game.
Cow.
You played that one?
No, I was 4 in 1999.
Cool. What the hell? I always forget that you're that young, man.
I turned 25 3 days ago, so
Mazel
so
tov. Happy
I'm in the old man club. I can shake a stick at kids, tell them to get off my lawn.
Fuck off.
That's 25. That's allowed. I've earned it.
I'm a quarter century.
I've earned it. You know how much younger than me, like so many esports people are that are doing so much better than I am.
Yeah, I do, because I felt that way for 10 years.
I'm feeling that way now, so you're not alone. If I can't be part of your club, then I can't be part of any club. I need this, Josh.
All right, you can be part of my club. Well, but anyway, happy belated Corvus Day, my man.
Thank you, appreciate it. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's overshadowed, but we're hopefully by the end of my life, we're gonna overshadow that one. We'll beat him out.
St. Patrick's Day this year sucked.
Yeah, I know.
This is the first year I haven't had an Irish car bomb in like a long time. I don't know.
That sounds so good right now.
It does. Oh my god! So it's gonna be back to one of those things where I have time again, and I don't know if you know who Jolly is from Boise State. Lisa, her name is Jolly. She's one of the broadcasters.
Yeah. She's the wife of the other caster guy. The casting couple.
Yeah, not anymore. But yes.
Oh, didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's out in public. They tweeted it. But yeah, I know Twitter isn't like your main focus, and I don't blame you. Trust me. Yeah, it's one of those things. Blink it and you'll miss it, because she barely tweets, sure. and he doesn't tweet that often either. So yeah.
Sure.
So yeah,
didn't mean to. Yeah, we can throw it out there. Very sorry
good. You didn't put your no, man. You're good. It's yeah. Anyway, so she came down for the Mountain West event, and
yeah,
I was talking to her, and I mentioned to her about Bluntcast. Do you remember my idea for Bluntcast?
Yes, I do.
Huh?
I said it's still very appealing. So
I'm glad you think so, because I kind of want to do that again. Because I was talking to her about it, and she seemed down too. And I was like, man, I could get two different people to do this with me. And I don't know. I guess I'll say what Bluntcast is. So I'm going to say this with full knowledge. Everyone has full knowledge that marijuana is legal in Nevada. So the idea is that I do a broadcast with somebody I'm like cool with, like obviously Corvus, or I talked to Lisa about it too. So do a broadcast, and while we commentate, I smoke and I just get high, and I don't plan on having a filter either. So the whole blunt thing was going to be a double entendre, where I would just be totally upfront. It's like, well, that move sucked, but also I would be probably smoking too and just getting high, and seeing where my mind goes with that, because I don't know, it's not legal over in Georgia yet, right?
No, but I just drink. I don't even if it were, I don't think that's exactly my.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I use it for sleep, because I have so much trouble staying asleep, and it helps.
Sure.
And my anxiety too, it helps a little bit. But so yeah, I truly mostly smoke it for medicinal purposes. But for this sort of thing, I want to do it for fun, because whenever I do smoke, my mind goes into various directions of my capacity, and at the time I feel like it's funny, and I'm hoping, I've never recorded myself, and I'm hoping that will translate over into something entertaining for people to watch. So that's my main idea. So I'm glad you're still down with that, because I kind of want to do that pretty soon. I don't know when. Obviously, I said that last time, but now I can actually schedule and have my time completely open. Time. Yeah. So keep that in mind. I'll probably hit you up for that soon.
Hey, my door's always open. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, I could test different strains too. Because there's like different strains of marijuana too that like make you react different ways. So, oh my gosh, so much experiment. I love using my body as an experiment. How nice.
There you go. We're all just lab rats. Even if we don't want to be, we just. Okay, not gonna go too far down that road. Could get really deep into like just how society.
We really could, especially now.
Chuck Palahniuk style, right?
Oh my gosh.
Club, are we really just nothing more than the summation of every input we've ever received?
I used to be really into him. One of my favorite books is still Survivor, and I haven't read him in a long time. I don't like saying things are a phase, because I feel like it's insulting for people who still enjoy that sort of thing. But for me personally, I feel like his angst, his particular style of angst, was a phase for me that I still have residual.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that phrasing. Phase.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, because all it really means at the end of the day is that it particularly spoke or appealed to you in a particular season of life.
Yeah, and it still has a
You're
residual.
allowed to not be in that season anymore. That's okay.
That's totally fair. I told you, man, you're so elegant. But the residual effects of that's still on me every now and then because I'm still quite angsty about a lot of things. I try to tone it down a bit, but it pops up sometimes, and you can see.
Sure.
You can see if you ever read Survivor. Sometimes I do have that weird freaking protagonist thing going about me, where like, I'm not calling myself a protagonist, but where all of his protagonists have some sort of weird thing about them that like they're like human, but they're kind of not. And I feel like every now and then I get that way. Like sometimes the guy in Survivor has a goldfish and he dies, and I don't think he cares. It's weird. It's a weird situation.
He's like sociopathic about this goldfish death.
He's a little bit.
Oh,
It's like, but it's like it's like symbolic because it was one of his things that was holding him on to various like things. It was like he was taking care of it, and then it dies, and like well, I guess that's done. And that's kind of how I feel right now. Like well, that's how I've been feeling about this whole job thing. It's like well, that's done. I mean, I still have a job going back. Don't get me wrong, but it's like well, what the piss am I going to do about it?
You may recall Midwest Campus Clash, I think 2018.
Were you reading Ernest Hemingway?
What?
Were you reading Ernest Hemingway, The Rising Sun, I think it was?
The Sun Also Rises?
The Sun Also Rises.
I definitely there were fun Hemingway facts that trip.
I quite remember.
I remember that in the airport.
Yeah.
But no, my fish died. And my fiance but girlfriend at the time called me to tell me about it.
Oh, I do remember that.
And I was that ruined my day. It ruined the cast.
That was a bummer for you.
I actually cried a little bit in the hotel room, not like a ton, just like the tearing up, couple off the cheek, not like ugly or bawling or anything.
And if you did, no one would judge you.
I know, but I'm just trying to give. I think the last time I cried to that degree was when I watched the movie About Time for the first time.
What's that about?
Oh my gosh, it's great. It's Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams, and it's a love story, but it's not just about romantic love. It's also about like the love for people and family in your life and everything. Yeah,
because typical love stories really don't make people. I don't feel like those really make people cry. Like I feel like when there's symbolism and things around it that like really affect things. I think that's when they cry. Like Titanic wasn't just about two people dying. It was about everyone died.
Yeah, and I think kind of enduring love, as well, probably.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, no. About Time is essentially, without spoiling too much, because this is revealed in the first 2 minutes. It's about a young man who realizes that he can kind of go back to any moment in his life, and do it over, and it's very wholesome, and he uses this to kind of build his ideal romantic and family life, and it explores some of the, I wouldn't even say consequences of that, because it's really not. It's a very wholesome movie, but it has some real tearjerker moments.
I've been actually wanting to write lately, by the way.
What would you write? Short stories, novel, poetry?
Okay, so I actually already do write poetry. Some of it's on my Instagram. Sometimes I post it. Sometimes I just keep it to myself. I have a couple books that I write in, but I've actually studied quite a bit of poetry in the last year, so I find it very therapeutic. I actually have a whole writing station with like different kind of pens. I have
nice.
I have a couple of a few. I mean, I have an ink pen, and I turned a oh man, the very tiny, like almost like hand grenade bottles of tequila that you can just buy as samples or like little things to take.
Yeah, little shooters.
Yeah, I turned one of those into an inkwell. And nice. I really love it because I love tequila, and it all makes sense to me.
Gone and plucked a goose and given it like a quill.
Yeah. I want to. I do have a feathered pen, but it's not quite a quill. It has like the feather, and it has the metal part on the end of it, like the metal tip, and you can change out the nibs and things like that.
That's probably so much better than the alternative. You're already at the top of that station. You wouldn't go backwards.
Oh, right, yeah. I also recently I've been getting targeted in Instagram by these targeted ads, and targeted ads I hate with a fiery passion, but at the same time they know me so well, and I've bought some things from them, and one of them is a pin. So you ever played the game Tyranny?
No, I'm not. I don't even know the name.
It's a top down like I think they call it isometric. I think it's esoteric. It's
Isometric.
Yeah, like the old style Fallout games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that, but it's about like this it's what happens if you play from the side of the bad people that like came in to a land and just took everything over and established their dominant rule. How you as a person at that last stage of taking everything would react, and would you keep on going, or would you enact your own thing? Would you go rogue? Would you side with one form of people, or would you side with the other? It's a really cool dynamic. You can actually get it for free on Twitch. They had it for free on Twitch, and that's how I play it sometimes. But getting sidetracked, one of the characters in there is an assassin, and he writes and in secret code. So he'll write you a normal letter, and then if you like put it in fire or like warm it up or put it in water or something, most of the ink fades away, and there's this special ink that's left, and like the like the thing that he wrote is completely arbitrary. He's just writing a letter that looks like it makes sense, but he's writing like some of the letters in the letter in the special ink, so when you like make all the other ones go away, it spells out another message. And I have that kind of ink now, and I want to use that. I haven't assassinated anyone yet, but I want to like write like an assassin kind of message that way, like I don't know. Like
I see the appeal.
I just want to RP is all I'm doing. I'm bored.
I get it.
I think the whole thing is this. I have like a whole writing station. Oh, by the way, I've even started studying Japanese calligraphy, Chinese style calligraphy, because it kind of goes hand in hand. I got myself a brush, got myself a book on it and everything. Got me the rice paper and everything. Got me a kit that has an ink stone. And you gotta gotta make the ink yourself. Yeah. It's like a form of therapy for me. So all this point is, I was thinking about writing, and so I write poetry, and I want to write a novel length thing, but short stories keep my attention span much longer. And I feel like if I write enough short stories in a universe, I can just turn it into a novel.
So that's the thing is one thing that I would recommend is I particularly when I drink, I love to write. Hemingway, who we talked about both previously a couple of minutes ago, very briefly, and
very manly man.
Clash. A particular hero of mine's the wrong word, because he was such a tortured, messed up.
He was a weird guy. I've read up on him since we had that discussion. Yeah,
he had some demons.
He was a demon, because I think it just eventually became him. But yeah, he started out with him for sure.
I wouldn't call him someone to idolize or to be a role model, but has one of the greatest quotes ever, and maybe misattributed.
He's a fantastic writer regardless. So yeah.
But said, write drunk, edit sober, which is, like, for better or worse, kind of translated to how I approach most of my life. Not in terms of like rampant alcoholism the way he had, not even in terms of drinking that much. But it has that I do like that philosophy to say, in a certain way, don't worry about the first draft as much. Go back, polish, refine things, but get the grid out on the front end. And so that can, drunk could be a metaphor for unprepared or whatever there. But in terms of just actuality, I do, I love drinking nice whiskeys and rums. And whenever I get about, a little bit in, start to feel the need to write. So one thing I did, that may or may not lead to something, is that anytime there would be a conversation taking place, I just gave the same two characters, like I gave whatever characters there were the same names. And I think there were like 3 or 4 total names. Hang on. I just got a Discord. Your mic has been transmitting for 30 seconds. It's just telling me I'm rambling. Shut up, Discord.
Go on.
That's unkind.
This is rude.
Got interrupted. Anyway, all that to say, just giving, like, irrespective of the situation, slapping the same names on whomever's talking to one another at the same time has kind of, I think, uh, in a lazy way, created the idea of characters for me in a like series that I don't have to, because it's just like character A, character B, character C, character D, or like name A, B, C, and D. Um, kind of maybe saying some things, and like the setting could be totally different, and then you just go back and kind of read through, and you're like, oh, this builds itself out for you. So you could be writing about something high fantasy style, like killing a dragon, or writing something heisty, robbing a bank, or a very emotional moment between just two, and then you kind of just go back and put them all together, and it's like, oh well, like does this kind of create anything?
That's fair. Yeah, right now, so I need to figure out how to structure all that sort of thing. Right now, I'm reading about character arcs because I want to like. So I've had a story in my head for well over a year, like probably a couple years now, and I've had most of the characters fleshed out in their path, like where I want them to start and where I want them to end, and how I want their personalities to start and how I want their personalities to end as well. So I just don't know if what I'm doing is right or not. So like I started actually reading. I started reading a book about character arcs, and I'm gonna read another one about structuring a novel, just to like get a better idea. But
Sure.
I feel like it's helping because then I get to like every. So I'm reading creating a character arcs by K.M. Weiland. It's like she's an author, so she also she has like books on how to structure novels and do all that. And it's really cool because as I'm going through the novel, I get to plug in the characters that I have and wonder like what I'm doing by the book and what I'm taking that could be improved upon kind of thing. So
Sure.
I'm finding it very cathartic, and I just want to actually I do want to start writing actual characters, like the actual story, pretty soon. So that's kind of where my mind's been at with like writing. I don't even know how we got on this topic, and I'm glad we did though. But yeah.
We were talking about assassins, and
Oh
Killing
yeah,
Ink.
yeah,
And I think we were dancing around the topic. Maybe Chuck Palahniuk. Before
yeah.
that is, yeah, little bit of a rabbit hole there.
Yeah. That's fine though. That's what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mind. I was supposed to talk to you about sports though, because
Yeah. Sure.
what is it? Okay, so first off, let's talk about my home team. What do you think about the Las Vegas Raiders?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
We just built a new stadium for them.
No, you know what? I'm decidedly for that. I do believe that franchises and teams, when I don't want to say disrespected or ill-treated by the city that they call home, but I think certainly
Oak,
start to become taken for granted by
Oakland
those.
certainly has not had faith in a long time.
Right, sure.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if you're in Oakland, you're probably a San Francisco fan, anyways,
Oof. Oof.
or maybe a San Diego fan. But yeah, you're
Right.
I mean, I see people with the Oakland Raiders logo on sometimes, but like, yeah, it's few and far between. Even people on Twitter who like are from Oakland, they don't even they prefer San Francisco.
So yeah, I think I'm afforded a bit of a nuanced perspective here, just because I saw this happen with Atlanta's hockey team, the Thrashers. Um, they, for their own reasons, left Atlanta, moved on, and have since not worth discussing. Um,
Are you
but
sure? Go
well,
on.
you know,
You're good. You're good.
that's my Atlanta. I've never followed hockey that staunchly anyway. But then, um, the Braves, Atlanta's baseball team, moved up from Atlanta to Cobb County, which is my particular county. It's still an Atlanta address, but they very distinctly located up to the north suburbs. And man alive, there's been so much vitriol about this. Um, I'm all for it. Look, City of Atlanta was not good to the Braves towards the end of that, and so I don't know the tying this back, and I don't know the particulars of the local politics in Oakland, but I do in Atlanta and Cobb County. So assuming it may be the kind of same situation, just that Atlanta wasn't treating this team right. The stadium was in a rundown area, and there were a lot of complexities that came with that. It became tough because a lot of people didn't feel safe in that area.
Right.
And the area didn't, have a lot of money, and people not feeling safe in areas of poverty is its own political thing that I don't want to dissect too deeply. Um, but it kind of came a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the only the little money that area did have existed because of the stadium. And so people in that area had jobs at the stadium. They, there was a ton of, I would say, entrepreneurship is what I would call it, that a lot of people didn't like. Ticket scalping, selling water bottles and Gatorade and snacks on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And it carried with it. I think a lot of people felt uncomfortable, and I don't really count myself among them, because I enjoyed the tradition of buying $1 bottle water on the way out after shouting myself hoarse because I hate the Phillies so much.
Wait. Why do you hate the Phillies?
Oh, just every time they're in town, they're Atlanta Braves. I think I would say number one division rival, although that becomes trickier now that the Nationals just won the World Series. But they're sort of Atlanta's. I don't even know what to.
So
I probably can't say what I want to say here on the podcast.
No, you'd be surprised. I have no sponsors.
Yeah, we'll still just keep it kind of tame. Fucking hate the Phillies. Mostly,
there he is.
Bryce Harper's stupid face. Want to punch that, but they're a dirty team. Their fans are awful. Borderline evil people. I think irredemptive. So that all kind of builds. Yeah. But they're also our division rival, so we play more games against the Phillies than anybody else.
And of course, the division rival has nothing to do with your hate for them in general, because I'm just sure you love strong competition.
No, I think you're supposed to hate your division rivals. I think that's like it's a good healthy thing in sports.
What if one of them baked you a cake one day? What if one of the fans was like, "Hey man, let's make peace"? What would you say?
I would check it for poison. I don't trust them.
So
they're a backward, savage people.
Oh my god! So I wanna name a team. I want to go through some teams, and I want your initial reaction. All right?
Sure.
New Orleans Saints.
Oh my god, you're doing this on purpose.
I totally am.
Worse than the Phillies, the most evil organization of all time. So like the Patriots cheat, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. Patriots, they cheat, they win Super Bowls. That's their thing. Everyone knows it. You honestly can't hate them at this point because they're so good at what they do. They've ironed it out. The Saints cheated in their Super Bowl year in like the most irredemptive and immoral way possible.
How?
Okay, how
it's
is that
only Super Bowl win?
In their only Super Bowl year? Yeah, they paid teams that were playing against teams with so say they had I'll use my favorite team, the Falcons, as an example. Say they were coming up against the Falcons next week, and this week the Falcons were playing the Panthers. Yeah. They would go and pay Panthers defensive players to injure key Falcons players. It's called Bountygate. You can look it up. They were found guilty of this. They were fined because they did it, not like there was an investigation that never turned anything up. Like they were punished for this. Because they would put bounties on like high profile players of teams that they had coming up in their schedule to get them injured, which is scummy as fuck. It is evil. That's like people's livelihoods.
Wow, they actually got penalized for this, didn't they?
Yeah. No, you're not just deflating balls and shaving like shaving
right seconds off a clock. It's actually insane. Yeah. I had no idea that actually happened.
Yeah. Okay, so pay a ref. Everyone pays a ref. I don't care. Your team gets caught paying a ref or banging on trash cans like the Astros. Is it wrong? Is it cheating? Sure. Yeah, that's fine. You injure people. Like, you're attacking people.
This is
like,
how I play
Madden, by the way. You belong in a fucking jail cell.
I play my Madden games this way with the hit stick. I will deliberately just hit stick people, even if I'm not supposed to go for them.
Well, you belong in Madden jail for that, and so do the New Orleans Saints.
I'm not paying anybody. I'm doing it myself.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Maybe if you're just that evil, right? But paying other people to do it too is just like, that's just gross.
Okay. So let's go from there. We'll say
all-time supervillain.
All right, if that's the case, Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, you know what? I have no ill will towards the Cowboys, but I do picture every Cowboys fan in my head as having a mullet. Um, and like those redneck crop tops
See,
that
okay,
like
I want to point out this is what I mean by the elegant backtrack backhanding. Oh, I have no ill will, but they all just seem like trash, really. Come on.
maybe it's so whatever they did to get the branding America's team so good. Like honestly, how they got that over like the Patriots who just win more. Have the greatest quarterback of all time.
Do you think they will still win, by the way, the Patriots?
Without Tom Brady? I have no idea. I truly don't know.
What do you think of him going to the Buccaneers?
Buccaneers are in the. You got quieter, by the way.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries. It's just like maybe it's my volume, maybe it's on your end. I don't know. I'll turn mine up though. So Bucks as well, NFC South. So they play in the same division as the Falcons and Saints. It's funny because they've been our proverbial punching bag for years. Like even in our bad seasons, the Falcons just beat up on the Bucks. So that's going to be fun to see. Actually, I think Tom Brady is a very good quarterback. I think the Buccaneers have a lot of potential to I think use him very well. I don't think it solves the problem that he's going from one of I think that traditionally the best defenses, defensive dynasties in the Patriots to plenty of years my high school defense would have started over the Bucks. And so I only watch the Buccaneers games that they play against the Falcons, but it seems like we just have their number every year. We light them up for like 40, 50 points, no problem. Julio Jones, I think, is a part owner after some of the games he's put up on those guys. So it's just foul. And so I don't like I am worried that yes, Tom Brady's going to do Tom Brady things and just hang ridiculous points on the Falcons, but it's another level of ridiculous points that the Falcons are able to just put back on the Bucks. So I'm not super worried.
So when I lived in Atlanta, I was in Buckhead, which is considered a very nice area.
Bougie.
People don't realize that the Darlington is there, and that's where I lived. And I lived in a cockroach-infested studio apartment that was about the size of my current writing room that I'm in right now.
Yeah, holy cow.
So, and that's including the closet, because the closet was about the size of the bathroom too, with the closet and bathroom being close. So I lived in a very bougie part of Atlanta. Fun fact about me for anyone who doesn't know, but I lived in the worst part of, the forgotten part, the part that the bougie people wanted to bring down. And man, I felt unsafe the Super Bowl that night whenever Falcons lost to the Patriots.
Heartbreaking. Just so heartbreaking.
And don't get me wrong, I don't like the Patriots either. So I'm with you on that. But I felt unsafe. People were yelling in that building. I think I lived on like the 7th or 8th floor. And if I needed to get down, I had to go to the elevator or a stairwell that had no cameras.
Yeah.
I locked my I had my door locked anyways, but I kept a crowbar next to it. I'm like, if these people get really rowdy, because there'd be fights out in my hallway sometimes because it's just one of those places that people got kind of rowdy. And man, people were yelling. Not even just in the building, outside the building too. I was like, I should really be somewhere else right now.
I saw grown men cry that night, just full on sob, and I felt it. It was such a blow to the city.
Yeah,
and we've not really recovered since. That was truly devastating.
Yeah, I know the Falcons haven't played that well since then for sure. And
we had a decent run. I think that gets slept on a little bit the year that the Eagles won, which may have been
it was like 2 years
17?
after that. That was
17 or 18.
Yeah, that was I think it was 2 years after that, right?
So yeah, they essentially we lost to the Eagles by a touchdown or less than a touchdown in a bloodbath of a defensive game. Just really grinding it to a halt. And we did not lose we lost to the champions, but not by that much. But it happened early enough on into the playoffs that kind of no one was giving the Eagles any respect at the time because they still had Nick Foles playing. Carson Wentz was still out with his injury. And everyone's like, oh yeah, but the Eagles, they just beat the Falcons, who are still just limping into the playoffs and not that good, and no one really thinks the Eagles can do it. And then the Eagles did it, and so we did have like one good showing that got completely forgotten about. I think mostly justly, but if it is that, I think that does kind of linger in the back of Falcons fans' minds, like what had happened if that Eagles game had gone just a little bit differently, because the Eagles handled everybody else on their way to the Super Bowl that year.
Fair enough.
So
thank you for letting me rile you up, man.
Yeah, no, sure. I what's the point of enjoying sports or esports for that matter if you're not just gonna like pick the hottest take imaginable and then belittle anyone who will even slightly criticize you on
The
it?
biggest joy I get is, especially from sports, is just hearing your hot takes, because particularly I'm not emotionally invested in sports. I'm emotionally invested in what you have introduced to me as redneck anime. I had never known it was called that beforehand, and I will forever call it that now, but it is wrestling. I am emotionally invested in wrestling to the probably to the point where you are, but like it's hard to really shit talk people because unless they've done something really bad, in their personal life, because everyone's a character in that show. So like,
Right.
if there's someone who's being a dick, I was like, he's doing a good job being an asshole.
Right.
He's doing. Yeah, you can't really.
He's playing the part.
Yeah, you can't really shit talk. There are some people like Randy Orton who's like, Randy Orton. He used to do actual things backstage. Like he would like put his hand down his pants and then like make people like walk up to people and like,
Hey, smell this finger? Gross.
no, he would make them shake their hand.
Oh,
Shake his
yeah,
hand.
don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah, he legit has asshole traits. Which, by the way, like wrestling's a weird thing where like if you don't shake someone's hand, you're considered disrespectful and you're like banished from the locker room. Like the Miz, the Miz is right. Mike McZannon, he was on Real World. He was and then he like he's like been wrestling for a long time now. He does a lot of the public things. He has his own show now too, and he does like the cricket commercials. Nah, anyway,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You name like half the people in like football. I won't know anyways. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember the Atlanta Falcons quarterback at this point.
Matty Ice, Matt Ryan.
Okay, Matty Ice. But yeah. So a long time ago, when Miz first got into the business, he ate some fried chicken over someone's bag unintentionally. He was just eating some fried chicken and someone's bag was there and some crumbs got into it, and for like a year or two he had to get dressed in the bathroom, like outside of the locker room.
Damn.
Yeah, like the weird unwritten rules in wrestling locker rooms will forever elude me, and they're perpetrated by like and enforced by some of the old guard that are starting to go out, but some of them are still there, and it's really weird to me because some of the old guard have converted some of the newer generation, and they're like that because it's one of those mentalities where you paid your dues and I had to pay my dues, you should too, kind of thing.
Sure.
It's a weird situation.
I feel like that kind of stuff in general is probably better for a sport than it is detrimental, though.
To a point, but at the same time, I'm not going to shake someone's hand he was just fondling himself, right?
Yeah, no, gross.
Like, there's like a borderline that is crossed sometimes. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think at this point too, where you'd have an excuse if someone just wanted to do the elbow bumps. Hey, it's not disrespect. It's just it's social distancing.
John Bradshaw Layfield one time walked up to Edge in the shower and started like cleaning his genitalia, and the challenge was for Edge not to react to it and just take it in stride, because if he reacted to it, then he would be ribbed. He would be like made fun of and like kind of bullied out of the locker room.
Assault, okay.
It totally is. It's weird, but
yeah,
it's just one of those things like you're going over the edge. Like, why are you doing that? I can understand like respecting people shaking your hand. I get all that, but it's like wrestling goes weird with it, like really weird. I don't get it. That's probably why I stopped wrestling. But anyways, we'll end on genitalia there. That's probably a good place to stop. Once you hit genitalia and washing it, you kind of can't really go too far else without getting banned from YouTube.
Right. Can't push that envelope too much farther. Are you talking ending the podcast or just ending the topic of wrestling?
It's been an hour. I think we should. I think we should call it. You got your life. You got Minecraft.
Sure.
Minecraft 2 to play. I see all the time. No problem.
That's one of the best things. Is just you can set your Discord status to
anything.
Whatever you want. So you just
Yeah.
say play, and then I wanted to say playing Valorant, just to really like wrestle up some friends.
There's been a lot of people that put it on their Twitter profile as they're a Valiant pro player already, and I'm like,
Oh man. So I will just extend this to say you're a big Froskiran fan, right? You like Frosk?
absolutely.
She's wonderful.
She is a beacon of hope in the company that is Riot. Yes.
So she put out that she was hey, during this quarantine, send me a DM if you're a caster and you're not like in the big leagues. And,
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And we'll critique it and all that. And then like 2 or 3 guys down there were like, "What do you think of my Valorant casting?" And they were just like casting over the clips of Valorant that Riot had already put out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like it is. There's a distinct thirst. I'm ready to play the game. I want to play the game.
Oh man,
like,
it looks too much like
man alive.
CS:GO. I don't think I'm gonna try it.
That's the thing. Is like I like CS:GO.
It looks like CS:GO and Overwatch had a baby, and I don't really like either of those games. So
I never liked Overwatch, but I do like CS:GO. So
CS:GO.
who knows?
Dude, this is your fault. Once I got introduced to Rainbow Six, I was like, this is better than everything. It's like chess. It's like chess for shooters, and I like that because I just don't like CS:GO. And I tried Overwatch numerous times. I think the most fun I had with Overwatch is watching it at Harrisburg University.
Yeah.
And being like, I was waiting for our time to go up and broadcast League of Legends, and while I was waiting there, the Collegiate Overwatch finals between Maryville and I think it was Harrisburg, they were going on, and it was like one of the most entertaining things I've seen from Overwatch ever before. But that's also because Uber and Hex were commentating on it, and they were very helpful. They were just very
consummate professionals.
They were really good with what they did. So I think that helped a lot too. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I was also hype, just because I knew both of the teams and I knew what was riding on it.
Yeah. Testament, by the way, to just how good of well fleshed out programs that Harrisburg and Maryville have,
right,
to be at that level in 2 different esports.
Yeah, and dragging fans, or I won't say drag, but like bring in fans specifically. I'm talking about myself, who have really no invested interest, but you can still what's on the line. It's still a lot of riding. That's energy. That's energy you can grasp onto and have fun with.
Sure.
So yeah, Valorant. I'm like, I'm all for more.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm all for more people having more opportunity to play things, but yeah.
So I think for the collegiate scene in particular, this is interesting too, because I won't name any names, but I have had the opportunity at some live events to talk to several college higher ups and presidents even that have said
from colleges in general.
Yeah, from a couple different high level playing colleges in the esports scene that have said, hey, we'll never touch Counter-Strike.
Because it's terrorists, right?
Yeah, because we can't risk associating the dreaded T word with our name. We'll never, even though it's this huge esport and even though so many people love it, we're never going to do that. So Riot essentially reskinning it and taking their esports approach to it has me interested, because while I have a lot to complain about Riot's approach to esports and their proverbial death grip that they put on the way all of their content is managed, which by the way we never even talked about, like the changes that they put out for Collegiate.
Let's do it.
We don't have to go all the way into that, because
I actually reached out to Tiza to be on here, and he said he DM'd me and said
how'd that go?
He DM'd me and said he just wanted to be transparent and say that he's reaching out to his people at Riot to see if it's all right and see what else see if that's allowed. But yeah, because they're all working from home as well right now. So he said that things were going a little slow, but he responded, and I'm like, cool. I told him, yeah, thank you. I told him straight up, I'm going to be kosher, because I do respect Tiza's work quite a bit. Tiza,
yeah,
I think it's Tiza. Either way, JT Vandenbree, I do respect
him and Sherman. Yeah, I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the
Which I should probably reach out to Jaws too. You remember Jaws?
I don't know that I do.
Jaws the music. He was the dude right before Sherman. Right before Sherman.
That was probably before my time. I don't think I broke on until like 2016.
I should get him on here. I should reach out to him. I think he's quarantined too.
That'd be cool.
That's a good thing about this quarantine is everyone's like bored at home.
Everyone wants to come on this. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying that, but yeah. Go on. I'm sorry. I'm like getting on a tangent.
No, all that to say, yeah, they just you know, I think they riled a lot of people up. Came in and kind of kneecapped what a lot of people were allowed to do with their League of Legends tournaments. And so if you just read the rules on this, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, okay, you can't have. It was I won't say ridiculously small amount of money, but it was a small amount of money compared to what CSL's tournaments are worth.
Right, yeah.
And you can't have a tournament with more than 16 teams. And it's like CSL, like, are you kidding me? 16 teams? That's our late playoffs.
I think that's mostly for the small tournaments, like your Midwest campus clashes and things like that, where you don't.
Well, so that is I think the key thing to consider there is that at the end of the day, what does happen is it means that anybody outside of those, CSL included, as far as I understand, and again, just a contractor, can't speak for all of CSL.
Right.
Would have to kind of apply and get Riot approval to move into that next upper echelon of hey, we want to have a bigger tournament, we want to have these sponsors, we want to have this much prize money, and now they need that Riot Games approval. A lot of people out there, the Monties of the world, would criticize this as being, oh, now you have to come groveling to Riot and kiss the ring, and all these negative ways of spinning that just to even have a hope of getting to play or host a tournament the way you want to. Whereas for Counter-Strike, the Valve model is just like, do what you want.
Yeah, Valve is super hands-off, I've noticed.
Yeah, go laissez-faire, just play these. We're glad people play the game. Like ESL, you run the show if you like. Intel, you do what you want here, and so Riot creating a competitor to that philosophy, which was essentially just looks like a reskin of that game CS:GO to begin with. Just, oh, hey, we took CS:GO and added champions, and that really seems to be all that looks different on the front end. It obviously will be more nuanced than that.
Yeah, right. Of course.
But to take that approach and go in, well, Riot's very controlled philosophy, their hands-on guidance to their esports has done very well for League of Legends. I think it could do very well for something in the CS:GO space, in a game like Valorant, and may even just attract a whole new kind of base of. Obviously, I think the intent is to take away CS:GO's fans.
That's why they're building TFT. That's why they built Runeterra. That's why they're doing Valorant. They're even having a fighting game coming out pretty soon. Riot is positioning himself to be the king of esports, and like they're doing it on almost all fronts. They're going to take on a lot of companies. I'm really anxious, or excited rather, to see how all that plays out, because that's a lot of focus on a lot of different places, on a lot of different things.
Yeah, they could be stretching themselves too thin. They're making a common enemy of themselves to everybody else. Anyone with a vested interest in esports right now is very aware of what Riot Games is doing. So they might be painting a target on their back, and they might be stretching themselves too thin, or they might just be coming in ready to consolidate the entire esports world.
I mean, because they do got Tencent behind them, and that's a lot of money.
Oh, that's that big backing, that mobile game backing.
Yeah, if they need to expand, they can do it. I think one of the few companies that's esport that doesn't really have to worry is honestly Ubisoft, because Rainbow Six is such a different breed of shooter that there's really nothing. I hate saying this because I feel like a fanboy, but there's really nothing like Rainbow Six out there from what I know. Like, you got battle arenas, battle royals. CS:GO, the Counter-Strike style, where you don't really aim down scope, and it's more fast paced. And of course, Overwatch, which is just like particle effects all over the place from everything that you can do. And then you have like this very grounded, like I said, chess style version of a shooter, because it's not just about shooting. I mean, obviously the goal in Rainbow Six is to shoot things, shoot people, but like it's so that's just, I feel like that's the goal, but getting from point A to point B. there are so many stops and so many nuances and so many things you have to think about in between where it can't really be compared to any other ones, and there's no other ones that have had that.
So different to play it, so different to watch it.
Yeah.
It is in a I would say league of its own as far as games of that nature go. It was very creative the way they designed it. I imagine any game that's a little bit, so I think actually kind of consolidation at the major level um of esport, like kind of shooter games that Riot's going for with or what they appear to be going for with Valorant, um, may actually be of a huge benefit to other titles that are looking to kind of build their branding and um, you know, thrive on things that are sort of set apart from that. You take Halo for instance. Halo's trying to come back. Microsoft's been pouring just a ton of money into the esports scene. They've been trying all sorts of different strategies there.
How do you feel about the new Halo? Are you going to try to get into it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
It used to be really big. And fun fact for anyone who's listening, he used to be a really big, like, you're a competitive Halo player, yeah?
So I was ranked champion 56 at one point, which is like challenger 56, and that was after a ton of grinding, and I lost it in like a couple days.
Wow.
Yeah, womp womp, right? But got to the point where I would like kind of routinely run up against pro players in my online matches, and just get absolutely devastated. Like everybody knows a guy that's like, no, dude, I was so good at Halo, I could have gone pro if not for this, that, or the other. Like I was good at Halo, and I still got absolutely churched by the top dogs, and it was not even close. It was that kind of difference of like the average. Like there's a huge gulf between me and the average player, and the gulf between the pro players and me was 2 or 3 times that size.
Whenever you got up to that rank, though, did you actually study the game? Did you do anything to really like boost yourself up, or did you, like you said, you just grinded, and that's how you did?
A lot of just playing the competitive playlist mostly, and then small things like you'd study a couple pros, so like just watch the way that they move, because movement's such a big thing in Halo, that you can get so punished for pretty quickly, and all these different little skill jumps and stuff like that. But it kind of goes hand in hand with Siege in that most of it's just knowing the angles. The hardest part about Halo is that you really have to team shot very well in order to win, and that's where kind of playing an angle or playing a position that may have 1 or 2 separate sight lines that you kind of have to oscillate between, and then just being really on the ball with kind of knowing what your teammates are calling out, keeping a good mental flow of like where they're respawning. Halo was, I think, the last of the truly great arena shooters. Certainly not the first. I mean, you have like Quake paving the way for that, being the godfather of esports in general, but also just the arena shooter. Halo, I think, was the last one to do it right before Call of Duty came in and made the Twitch-based shooter.
Yeah, that's the most mainstream one nowadays is the Call of Duty, right? I'm trying to think of anything that's even similar to Halo. But yeah, you're right.
No, and that's what I'm saying is like it. Halo's just focused on making their game. Rainbow Six is focused on making their game. And so I imagine that'll actually bode well in the long run for their esports pursuits. Whereas I don't think it's an unfair criticism to say Riot is focused on making Valve's game right now.
Yeah.
So, and there's something to be said for emulating, doing it better, taking the good and going a step forward, being on the shoulders of giants there.
That's kind of been Riot's MO their entire like life, right? Because I mean, League of Legends was a Dota. I think it was a way of saying I could do this better, so they made League of Legends, and they're doing that with Valorant. It's like I can do this better, so they're making Valorant.
Yeah, TFT.
I can do this better, which actually is very interesting. I want to say it's an interesting way of conducting a business, because eventually you're going to put a lot of resources in where you're not going to do it better. And of course we might even see that. We saw that they're very successful with League of Legends. They're building upon that, because now even if TFT isn't better, League of Legends people will want to play that over Dota Underlords or over Auto Chess in general. So I see what they're doing, but they're taking a little bit of a risk on Valorant because, from what I understand, it's not League of Legends based. It's not anything like that. It's just
Right.
it's
a whole new thing.
It's original. Yeah, original as in like a new character base for Riot, new story, new mythos, and everything like that. Because I say original, we're talking.
Okay,
about...
so it's so I didn't even know that it's not in the Runeterra universe.
It might be. I don't actually know. I don't think it is. Is it? I don't actually know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Bad journalism for me. My bad.
Yeah, well, they've been so secretive about all that.
Yeah.
I think one thing to consider too is we don't really see the degree to which, like, we have no idea what's kind of just died in the R&D pool for Riot after taking up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, you remember, so they got Legends of Runeterra now, but it was like 2015 or something. There was all this news about a Riot Games card game.
There've been news for various things for a long time, but it just kind of goes on the wayside because after a while, when you don't see it, you just think it's rumor.
Right, and who knows if this is even that same iteration.
Right, and I'm pretty sure Valorant. So I'm looking at their Twitter right now. They just released a new character that says Sova / Russia, which I'm assuming they're from Russia. Russia would be more
not in Runeterra.
Not in Runeterra at all. No.
There you go.
So I think it is going to be its own original story and mythos, just produced by Riot.
Neat.
So yeah, that's going to be a test. That's actually going to be really interesting. I never really thought about that until now. So yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, man. All right. I said like 20 minutes ago. It's been
I know. I kept it rolling a little bit.
No. I was mostly wanting to cut it off because I don't like taking people's time more than an hour, even though I have before. But like, I mean, you seem keen on talking, so I'm like more than happy. But it's just like, at the same time, I just want to make sure that you are comfortable sitting on a mic talking to me more.
Oh, cast esports, so sitting in one place talking in front of a mic is hell to me. I never do it.
Fair, right?
No, it's all good. Yeah, we can go ahead and wind down. But I really enjoyed this. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, that's the whole point. Like, I want to get people's mind off of things and just be optimistic. I know we started on a little bit of doom and gloom, but like that's why I wanted to start with it, because I knew we could end on do the rest of the hour on a good positive note. So, yeah, man, that's the point.
Nice.
I'm glad it had its intended effect.
Wonderful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to actually listening to this all when it's all said and done. So
yeah, you're the third one. So I think it's going to be a week from
I saw Teresa had posted that shit. So I didn't see it in time. But she retweeted a tweet of yours like 10 minutes before I started this. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta check this out.
Yeah, Teresa's also one of my friends too, so it's a really casual conversation there. And I had Teresa first. I had Carmen from UBC. Were you back in that time whenever Carmen was...
No, that was a bit before my time.
Okay.
But I'm aware of the legacy there.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel really bad. I slightly fanboyed out with her there because I've never got to talk to her, like ever. And she is, if there's a Hall of Fame for Collegiate League of Legends, she has to be the first inductee. Like there's no question about it. And I've always wanted to speak to her. Even Dan like looks up to her as like a mentor, well, like, a figure, like a role model of what to do. And Dan has even said, we're not going to be the best team in history until we do what they did and win back-to-back championships. And that's what they did that with it was actually the ones before Maryville University started winning. Yeah, it was the 2 years before then, because it was University of Washington, then it was UBC, and then it was UBC, and they also won a world championship as well over in Korea. And then that team went through changes. Bobchin went over to Pro, and I believe Gate as well. Because she told me that Gate was a player, and he played on, I think it was he played on a few teams. One of them, Team Impulse. Echo Fox was one of them as well that he ended on. Yeah. So he came from UBC as well. And once that team disbanded, they went on to their other things. And I think Carmen was still managing them after that, but they didn't reach the success that they had beforehand, like the double championship. They're still doing well. And
you still see them in the late rounds of every.
They're always top 10. They're usually top 10 no matter what. And Sorry, I got on a rant here. Sorry about that.
No, I'm excited to check this one out now too.
Yeah. Hers is going to be dropping on Monday, and then the Friday I'm going to drop them. I had such a big response to this, so I decided.
So you're gonna stay busy. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that was my goal. So I decided to do 2 a week instead of my normal 1, just to get some out of there, and who knows when my energy is going to peter out, and I'm just gonna ghost on everything. I don't want to.
Well, consider me cheerleading from your corner. Like pump this stuff out, man. I'm excited to listen to it.
I appreciate you. Yeah. So a week from today, yours should go out. Today's Friday.
Today is Friday. Friday evening.
As sad as it is, even 2 days off, I've lost track of time.
Oh, I'm a hermit right now. I get it. I'm sitting here in like sweats and slippers.
Yeah, same.
So
that's another reason why I don't want the camera right now. Like, I've been battling myself. Like, I should have a camera because it's professional. And I thought that last time I had this run of things, and like some of the I got votes. Like I said, I think I did a poll on Twitter saying, "Hey, you guys want a camera?" And most of them said yeah. And I always felt bad that I never did set up assets to get a camera going, because like it's easy. I just don't do it. Because I love the ease of not having to edit anything.
Sure, yeah, you just slap the audio on and go. Yeah,
it's fast as possible. It's good for someone like me who has a very short tolerance and attention span for things that I do that I don't get paid for, which is no offense to anyone listening or going to be on here, because that's just my mentality. If I'm getting paid, I will go 100,000%. I don't care. I'll go 110%. That's a big variance, the 100,000 and 110, but you know what I mean. But
they're all above 100.
They are, and if I'm getting paid, that's a big motivator for me, because then I feel someone values me. No one's here to value me besides my guests, and I'm not obviously that's not how pay structure works. No one's gonna pay to be on my podcast ever, and even if I get anywhere that of remote notoriety, no one is ever gonna pay to be on my podcast. I'm never gonna ask that of anybody. But
not until we stop swearing and get all those sponsors, right?
I need a Raid Shadow Legends sponsor.
Oh, that's what we need.
They're giving them out a dime a dozen. I've heard like from anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000. That will get me more motivation. And I'll do 3 of these a week. Well, actually, I mean, I'll post 3 of them a week. I'm actually doing like 5 a week this week already. By the way, returns. Nice. I'm gonna have Returned on tomorrow.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
I actually wanted him on this one with us, but time wasn't going to work out. So
Sure.
Yeah, because...
That's okay. We get to be a little bit more distracted anyway, so...
I'm pretty sure he would be... he might be annoyed if we, on the tangents we go
Yeah, he'd be here to talk Collegiate League of Legends.
Which is totally fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna have.
So I haven't told, but he's gonna get an invite to the wedding too. Should be especially easy because he's right here in Atlanta.
I was actually gonna ask him tomorrow if he's back in Atlanta with everything that's going on.
I don't know actually. Yeah, he may. I don't. He's a private guy. He
is.
Return, if you ever listen to this, dude, I'd love to hang out and get lunch or something. You're a wily bastard. And so I'm just gonna put that out there, and you can come to me. But love you and miss you, man, and would love to get together.
Yeah, for as many events that him and I we've been a part of together. We which I guess really is only like 2 or 3 now that I think about it. But we've also done a season of broadcasting together too. At least 1. We might have done more than that, but yeah, we really don't talk that much. I mean, we interact on Twitter and we get each other's humor. And we do what we like. We like interact during. I feel like when we interact, it's always
esports buds.
It's definitely. I know that's the thing. I always feel like it's always business when we talk about anything. So tomorrow, I'm gonna try to. Well, I say tomorrow. I don't know whenever the next podcast, because he's gonna be the next one. I guess it would be a week from next Monday. I hope is when that's gonna be broadcasted. I hope I get he lets me in a little bit.
There you go.
Hey,
friend. Well, you got me on hook for the next 3 already. So I've got to dip out before you get me booked on for listening to every single podcast of all time. Not that I don't want to, but now it's just becoming like calendar events.
Yeah, no, it's not an obligation for anybody, but I do appreciate the views. Thank you very much. And the retweets and the follows. Do everything. Subscribe.
For sure.
Leave a comment in the comment section below.
Yeah, you'll see hopefully my lovely Twitter attached to this. Not that I post a lot because it's bad for my mental health, but please follow me anyway because it does validate me
Exactly.
as a person. I
That's
tie my personal value directly to my Twitter follow
it's
account.
not just as a person. You are trying to be a public figure, and that is so pressuring with the Twitter, with the social media.
Oh, I know it.
I hate all of it, but
it's awful.
you gotta do it.
But follow me anyway. I'd
There
be
you
really
go.
glad to have it. That makes my day.
Validate us. Anyways, thanks, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Josh, good night. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been a blast.
Thank you, man. Have a good night, and be safe out there. Stay healthy.
Hey, yeah, you too. You too, for sure.
Thanks,
Peace.
man. See ya. There's nothing in the world that brings me more joy than talking about sports with Kyle. It is so fun. And I'm even if he knows that I'm trolling him, I'm pretty sure he has a good time too, because he just seems to really enjoy shitting on certain sports teams. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. Again, man, thank you for being on, Kyle, if you're listening. Hope you are. But yeah, again, it's two friends just catching up, and yeah, it was really fun to do. It's a great distraction during this time, so I hope it's a good distraction for you too. With that being said, go ahead and give me a like, a share, a subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, retweet this, I should say. Like I feel like no, like I mean there are some people that retweet it, but I feel like there could be more people that retweets these things. Either way, I appreciate your attention no matter what. I guess I'm coming off as ungrateful at this point. With that being said, my name is Joshua Fekez Quest. You can follow me on Twitter at Fekez, at twitter.com/Fekez. It's early in the morning, actually, by the way. I'm recording this outro early. It is twitter.com/Fekez, P-H-E-Q-E-S. I will also leave Kyle's Twitter handle down at the bottom, down in the description below. Other than that, yeah, that's it. Everyone, stay safe, be healthy, social distance yourself. It's for the world. Have a good day. See you next Monday.